Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about inspiration, particularly how do you get inspired when you don't have any new ideas, particularly if you're doing the sort of thing that I do, which is you go out and film as much as possible, you go out and make as much stuff as humanly possible, and so you're constantly drawing from your own well of inspiration. Sometimes you get towards the bottom of that well of inspiration. What do you do? How do you scrape the bottom of the barrel? Because at the bottom of the barrel can be some really nice stuff. Obviously, the phrase scraping the bottom of the barrel kind of gives you the impression of like, oh, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel of that one. Have they not got any new ideas? Well, no, don't, but that can also be useful in its own way. It can also have its own little set of intrigue to it, because when you work within limitations, you tend to come out with some really good stuff. If you set a challenge for yourself and you work within that challenge, you can do a lot better compared to if you had complete creative control to do absolutely anything you want. Because if you have that, that means you kind of just do everything, and it just kind of, you throw the entire kitchen sink at it because you've got the entire kitchen sink. Maybe you don't need the entire kitchen sink. Maybe you just need to turn the hot water on a little bit, okay? You don't need to have a million different ideas to begin creating. Even just like the little ideas that you come up with. Like for instance, a few years ago, me and my mate, we used to film these little short films. We'd go up north and we'd be filming a feature film, but in between we would film these little like quite fun shorts, and we would just do them in a day or a couple hours sort of thing. They never like, you know, took over the entire day. They were never about, you know, that kind of thing of like putting loads and loads and loads and loads of time into one particular project. They were more about just exploring the realms of creativity. We did a couple horror ones, we did like a couple sort of pseudo documentary sort of ones, and it was a lot of fun. And I remember one in particular. It's called 1111. I'll try and remember to put a link to it in the description below. Basically, we didn't have any ideas on what we were going to do, so we were sat in the car and we were trying to sort of spitball ideas back and forth to one another. And this was sort of, I want to say this was like October 2021, something like that. Basically, this was right at the beginning, the genesis of ChatGPT and just like AI in general. And so what we did, we went on and Googled AI movie ideas, and we just let it generate a few movie ideas, and it generated a load of them. We kind of looked through them, we're like, no, 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 no. And then we kind of saw one that was, it was about a vortex, and we kind of thought, oh, vortexes are kind of interesting. And we had a bit of a conversation about, you know, the nature of the singularity, and like, I talked to him about black holes and how if you go into a black hole, you get the spaghettification sort of effect that comes over you. And then from there, you kind of get sucked into the singularity, and we don't necessarily know what the singularity was. And so right there is a little bit of horror in the unknown. So we kind of made this little short film where the main character is kind of just wandering around a graveyard, and he picks up this object that was just, it was a prop that my friend had for a while and he'd been wanting to use in a film for a while. And so we worked out a way that had some kind of horror kind of elements to it. We weren't trying to set out to make the world's greatest horror film by any stretch of the imagination. We were just enjoying ourselves making stuff. And that's, I think, the way that you should create. You should just create first, ask questions later, because you don't necessarily need all the ideas in the world. That actually was one of my favorite of the films that we did, and it was the one that we did when we had absolutely no idea. I remember we did another horror film where there was loads of ideas that kind of went into it, and that one is certainly good as well, but I kind of prefer the one that we did where we didn't have any ideas and we were working with just creating stuff on the fly, off the cusp. Just literally, we were sat there on the internet just Googling various ideas, trying to figure out something that worked. And when we found something that worked, we just did it. And you know, you might say that that's just sort of a lack of creativity or a lack of inspiration, but I don't necessarily think that you need those things in order to create good works of art. I mean, look at something like Friends, for instance, the sitcom Friends. There's loads of episodes of that where you imagine the writer's run wasn't particularly inspired. You know, you're on series 9 of a you know, daytime TV show, primetime TV show. You're gonna run out of ideas. You've already done Ross and Rachel. You've already had all the characters hook up in every sort of combination you can think of. You brought in new characters, brought in guest stars. You've done every plot that you kind of thought up when you came up with the idea of Friends. It's all been done. So what do you do next? Well, you just start thinking of stuff, and you just start trying to come up with something, anything that could work. And that's when you come up with some of your best ideas. And there's some really good episodes in Series 9 and Series 10 of Friends. There's some really good episodes of The Simpsons in like Series 10, 20, 30. There's good episodes in Series 36 of The Simpsons. Do you think they were as inspired in Series 36 as they were in Series 1? No, of course they weren't. But at the same time, you don't need the inspiration to get stuff done. If you kind of brute force your way through that writer's block, you will come out as something that you will end up looking back on. You won't be able to tell the difference between the stuff you were inspired to create and the stuff that you weren't inspired to create. You just create and you just make stuff. And then you ask questions after the fact. You think, where did this go wrong? What did we do here that was obviously working? Let's try and do that again. You have various things like that. So in terms of creating stuff when you don't have any ideas, I think the best thing to do is to first ask around, see what's going on, try and take in new information, see what you can do with said information, and then try and apply it to your own self and your own creative vision and that kind of thing. Because I'm presuming by this point you have found your own voice and that sort of thing. You know generally what you want to say, what your overall message with regards to your creative works is, and your overall worldview, that kind of thing. If you haven't figured that sort of thing out, there's other videos out there on the internet. If you just Google like finding your voice or something, you'll find loads of videos of people trying to help you find your own voice. But once you have found your own voice, it's very easy to just bring on new ideas and just try and think of stuff. Like right now, I don't really have many great ideas, but why should that stop me from creating necessarily? Because scraping the bottom of the barrel can be quite fun. You know, like I like the butt end of bread, the loaf of bread. I like the butt end. I like, or for instance, I don't know. You get to the bottom of a can of Coke, and you've got that little like sort of thing there, and you kind of get a couple sips out of it, and it's really nice. You know, that little final part. Like, I mean, the way that I can't remember what it is. Is it Guinness? Is made by just scraping the bottom of oil barrels or something like that, or beer is made like that. I can't quite remember how it works, but the bottom of that barrel creates some good stuff. And that's generally what I want to convey with this video, is that don't necessarily worry that you've run out of ideas, because even if you have run out of ideas, which you haven't, by the way, you're just not feeling particularly great today, that doesn't mean that you can't create something, anything, and then look back on it and go, bloody hell, I'm glad I did that. You'll never regret making something. You'll never regret creating a piece of work. You'll never regret trying stuff. So why should you not? Why should you get yourself down over that and sort of think, well, I have nothing to say, I have nothing to create, I have no voice? Because that's just not true. You just don't know what it is yet. And once you make it, you'll look back and you'll feel like, oh wow, that was a lot more cohesive than I actually originally intended. Not bad, decent going there. So go out there, create stuff. Just make sure that you're putting your all into it, even if you don't have any ideas left necessarily. Because a lot of making film, a lot of making music, a lot of books, it's not necessarily just the creative process, it's the actual, you need to do the work of making the thing. If you want to write a book, you need to type. If you want to make a film, you need to get out into locations, find the crew, find the equipment, film them doing the stuff. If you want to make music, you need to, go into the MIDI and find all the drum loops and then go through and do that, or you need to figure out recording setup, or you need to write the songs. And you necessarily always need to have everything worked out, because if you did, what would the journey of making stuff be? It would just be, imagine Orson Welles making Citizen Kane, right? Does he just sort of have the idea, right, I'm going to make Citizen Kane, and then he just went out and made it? No, there were probably loads of times when he was making Citizen Kane where he felt uninspired, or like he wasn't making anything worthwhile, or like he didn't have any good ideas left. Or maybe after he made Citizen Kane, he was like, oh God, what am I going to do next? And then the film he made after that was, I can't remember what the film he did after that. I think it was one where the studio interfered a lot, and it was a film that had the potential to be as good as Citizen Kane, but it wasn't because of the studio interference, something like that. I can't quite remember. But I'm sure when he was making that film, he felt like, oh God, I've made the best thing I've ever made. I can't make anything as good as that. I've not got any real good ideas left. You don't need to make the best thing be your newest thing. You don't need to top yourself every single time. And not everything needs to be your greatest work of art. Sometimes it's fine to just make stuff for the sake of making stuff. Sometimes it's good to just keep the practice going. And why not? Why not make stuff? It's fun, it's nice, it's satisfying, and it's entertaining, not just to watch and from the audience's point of view, but to make from the creator's point of view. So why should you let something as stupid as not having enough good ideas let you get in the way of making things? Because you'll come up with something. I'm sure you'll come up with something. Even if it's not your most inspired work, why should that let it get in the way? So that's essentially my message, is even if you're looking at yourself right now feeling like you're not inspired, maybe you're feeling a bit down, maybe you're a bit depressed or whatever, or maybe you're a bit anxious of like, well, how are people going to respond to my thing? Is it like, because it's not good enough, etc., etc. Don't let any of that stuff get in the way. Even if you're going to set out and make a load of crap, obviously you didn't set up to make a load of crap, but you ended up making a load of crap. Why is that a problem? I don't necessarily have the answer to that, because I don't think it is a problem. Frankly, I just don't. I don't really see why anything like that should be something that lets you get in the should get in your way. Nothing like that should get in your way ever, because you're fucking brilliant. You can get out there, and you're way more powerful than you could possibly imagine. So just get out there, create the stuff, and then ask questions later, and just see where it takes you. See where the inspiration of the desperation from a lack of inspiration will take you. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you got something out of it. Take care, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of the day. And leave your comments below, because I bet there's been something that you've made where you made it out of desperation, or maybe to fill a quota, maybe if you're like a YouTuber and you need to get a video out for that week or whatever. But you know, you knew it wasn't going to be your best video, but why should that let it stop you? Because what might be considered your worst video to you might be your best video to someone else. And that's fine, that's cool, because it's all subjective really at the end of the day. So yeah, take care everybody, thank you very much for watching, have a good rest of the day. Oh, this thing that I'm sitting on, it's at a real angle. Hurts a little bit actually. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this camera angle, because I am fucking terrified. I'm watching my camera, and I'll tell you what, it might not look like much, but please, honestly, try to understand that this is quite a long way down. It's a long way down, and there's no guardrail here, and the camera is just sat there. I've managed to find a bit where there's like, it's double the thick. Notice there's two parts kind of join. But oh my God, I am really genuinely quite scared. And I feel like this is a good moment to sort of say that danger can often look quite mundane, you know? Some of the scariest things are just quite plain looking. And honestly, I'm shitting myself. I am absolutely fucking terrified. And I don't know how better to communicate that than, I suppose at the end of the video, I'm gonna have to pick the camera up and I'm gonna have to show you. I am not doing that. God, that felt so weird to even just do that on its own. I hope that this can give you an idea of sometimes as filmmakers we kind of got to take little risks. Not this, don't do this, this is fucking stupid. But I think in general, it is good to take risks. This is going to be a very short video, I don't care. But this is going to be a very short video, completely incoherent. But I feel like as long as you can sort of see that risks are something that need to be taken from time to time, like, you know, when I've been doing films in the past, particularly if you're acting, you know, like if you want to cry, for instance, I used to like rub onions, not in my eyes, but like right like that. You know, I used to sort of try and actually beat myself up. I used to tell actors, just punch me in the face for real. That was fucking stupid. So yeah, I think maybe there's a video about stupidity, not knowing what to do, and yeah. No, I don't like this. I really don't like this at all. I hope you can get a sense from my face that this is fucking terrifying. And I think this video is just gonna be 90% me just saying this is fucking terrifying. So yeah, as filmmakers, we kind of got to try things, and some of those things will be scary, and you know, we kind of got to do them anyway. But here is the lesson. Learn the difference between intelligent risks and stupid risks. What I'm doing now is a stupid risk, because this video isn't any good. The risk to reward ratio is all off, you know? And like, I'm not really meant to be here either. That's why I'm looking over my shoulder in case security comes over. But it is a cool shot. I think. It would be a better shot if I had a tripod. Oh, I wish my tripod was still around. But sometimes limitations put you into these weird situations, and that's kind of okay. As filmmakers, sometimes we got to take risks, and it's about whether you are willing to take that risk. I, for some reason, am willing to take this risk, and I think from now on, I'm not going to take any more risks like this. No more getting punched in the face for me, no more getting thrown in canals, no more, you know, sprinting uphill for like 45 minutes 10 times. No more of any of that sort of thing. No more pretending to get stabbed. Yeah, all of these things are far in the past, and for the future, sensible risks, because I think that's, oh my fucking God, oh my fucking God. Right, I hope, I don't give a shit, the video is done. How long is this? Because have I not gotten through to you yet that this is scary? This is a scary thing to be happening, right? And as filmmakers, like, or just creatives in general, that touches and that goes all the way over there. I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. Okay, so, yeah, right. So I suppose to close this video off, to close the idea that I'm trying to convey, risk happens, you take risks. I've taken risks on other people's film sets, so, you know, and part of the reason that I cast myself as Jonny Mozza in this Jonny Mozza film is so that I can fuck the health and safety, because I'm not unionized. I can do what I want and I can't sue myself. So, oh God, they're all so small, the people. Jesus Christ, I'm only like 4 stories up, but they're so small. Oh God, but it's a straight drop as well. Okay, right. I kind of want the video to keep going because I don't want to go and pick the camera up, but I have to. I'm going to do it from this side. That way there is a guard. There is a solid guardrail. So excuse the arm. Okay, right, right. Oh my fucking God. Okay, okay. Does that give you a fucking idea? That's what that was sat on. That's what that was sat on. Right there, where that lens cap is, okay? That was it. This was the setup. This fucking lens cap. It's a gorgeous place, this. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, tell me that's not cool, but it's not fucking worth it. Jesus Christ. So, anyway, fuck, I'm gonna somehow figure out how to do this. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you have any thoughts on the sheer utter lack of intellect and care for my craft that has gone into the making of this dog shit video, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, learn what risks are appropriate to take, what ones aren't appropriate to take. You can probably see right up my nostrils. This is okay. I can deal with this because it's just a little drop. It's not a big one. So I'm gonna leave the shot here for a bit, and thank you very much for watching the video. Have a good rest of the day. Take care. Love you all, and fuck that. God. I know it didn't look like much. It didn't look like much, but seriously, that was intense. I have no idea what message you meant to take away from this. I have no idea, but I feel like whatever the message is, it has made itself abundantly fucking clear. Oh my fucking God. Look at that. Look at all the pigeons that have sat there. Oh, all of them. There's so many. Can you see them? I feel like you can't. Hang on. Whoa, there we are, there we are, there we are. They've all flown over. They're all sitting where I was sat. Jesus. Oh, that was cool. Okay. I feel like I am just pissing about now, but yeah, I'm gonna get the fuck out of this car park. Take care, everybody, for the second time, and have a good rest of the day. Love you all. Leave your comments below about whatever the hell this was. And yeah, I will see you around at some point soon. Tomorrow, I suppose, because I do these videos twice a day. And if you can't tell, I'm running out of ideas. Bye. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about consistency, both within your worldview, your ideas, and your overall general self and your work ethic and all that kind of stuff. So if you're starting off in life let's just say you're at square one, okay? And you need to get a job, you need to get a car, you need to get your life in order, all of these various things. And you need to develop some kind of overall philosophy for how you see the world. Because everyone, even if you're not actively thinking of that consciously, everyone does have their own worldview, and everyone's is a little bit different from one another when it comes to little specifics, or maybe it's like quite large overarching changes in a political ideology or something like that. Well, the point is, we're all a little bit different. We all have different quirks. We all have different flaws. We all have different positive and negative traits. And not one of us is perfect, and not one of us is this, top-tier specimen with no flaws to them. So in terms of consistency, we all fall off. In terms of consistency, we aren't all 100% brain activated at all times of the day. Obviously, we need to sleep, but I mean just in, from day to day. Some days, even your biggest, who's the biggest guy who does self-improvement or is like, oh, look at how great he is. They have days where they just want to sit around on their ass all day and just watch Netflix and drink tea or whatever it is they want to do, right? Well, they all have lazy days. Everyone's got a lazy day. And you need those little lazy days to actually make sure that you are able to get back on top, because you need to recharge, because you're not just a robot that can just, work 24 hours a day and you can just, work while you're being charged. You need to sleep, you need to rest, you need to socialize, you need to have fun experiences in life. You need to live in the world, and I mean proper live, not just exist. And you need to get all of these things out there so that you can develop yourself holistically as an individual, because if you don't do that, then your own worldview will suffer as a result from lack of experience, from lack of knowledge, first-hand knowledge about, the way that the world works. If you've never, say spoken to your local councillor, how can you for certain talk about what local councillors are like without having that experience? Obviously, it's a sample size, it's a small sample size, not like you have full authority on all local councils across the entire hemisphere, but you have this experience that you can use. It's something that you can pull up if someone asks you about it and go, yeah. Or, in terms of maybe having a job. Have you ever worked in something where you got to do 80-hour weeks? I've done something where I had to work 80-hour weeks, and it was absolutely, I hated it. It was 7 a.m. It was meant to be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And that was 72 hours a week. But the thing is that they would make us stay longer if all the work wasn't done that day, which was every day. And I could not stand it. I had zero time to be myself or anything like that. And I don't really see how anyone can actually realistically work that hard. So yeah, you got those kind of things that help build you up. You need negative experiences to help build you as a person. You also need positive experiences to help build you as a person. You need both. You can't choose and pick and choose one or the other, okay? Because all you can do is try and get yourself out into a space where you can get positive experiences, because negative shit is going to happen to you no matter what. You don't really want you don't want to go out and make sure negative stuff happens to you, because that's life will take care of that for you. Don't worry about that. Focus on the positive stuff, down this path. Do you want to walk down the path, right? Or do you want to walk, imagine it was uncut grass and it's kind of hard to sort of wade through it, yeah? So you kind of have that sort of thing. I'm just going to check that I'm actually recording, because, yeah, I am. Sorry I had to do that. I don't like doing that, but it started playing up with me lately. It gave me a little recording pause last time. I recorded a 20-minute video of this and I was like, oh, that's a negative experience though. Sometimes these things happen, and I'll tell you what, it's helped me to develop the point that I'm making, because in terms of consistency, you need to keep putting stuff out there. I don't know why I did that voice, but you need to keep putting stuff out there. You need to keep trying things, and you need to keep, living new experiences which will help grow you as a person. You'll find out what you like, what you don't like, what you're ambivalent on, which maybe you thought you would really like, and then you go do the thing. Maybe you've been talking about how you'd love to go scuba diving, and then you finally go scuba diving. It was all right, but I don't really want to do it again. I feel like I only really enjoyed it because I was hyping it up in my head. You kind of got that sort of stuff. And then in terms of consistency with message, which is another point that I wanted to make with this video. These videos that I've been doing, I've been trying to preach sort of positivity and trying to sort of preach this idea that everyone's a bit more powerful than they think they are, and that you can do things beyond your wildest dreams, and just like go with the flow, see what happens, and just have fun with it, really. That's the sort of message that I've been preaching at the moment. But who's to say that that message won't change as time goes on and my own worldview changes? Because that's all these videos are. It's just a ramble of me giving my little worldview across. And I can't do that in any head other than my own. You know, I can't give someone else's ideology across. I can try and sum up maybe their belief structure or something like that, you know, but I couldn't actually say what they think, because that's their job. And my thoughts will change over time. So say in a year from now, doing these videos, right, I won't be able to be given the same message because I'll be a different person. I mean, every 10 years, your atoms change completely within your body. So the me that existed 10 years ago is fundamentally a different person in every capacity, because every single atom that made that person is different from the atoms that make me. Obviously, there was a crossover point, as we probably had half and half atoms about 5 years ago, but that's a different person. And 10 years, it'll be a different person again. And 10 years from then, and so on and so on and so forth, right? And so the message will change over time. But I think the discrepancy between various videos and between various worldviews is where the truth actually lies. It lies between everything that you sort of see. And it's up to you to sort of make the connections and see what works for you, because certain things might work for me that don't work for you. Certain things might work for you that don't work for me. Certain things might work for John Bill Job over there, but they might not work for either of us. But, you know, he does them. So, you know. So you kind of got this ever-developing, ever-evolving message within your own head and your own way of seeing the world that's going to continue to develop and grow, as it should, because that shows that you are a well-rounded person that can take new ideas on board. It shows that you're not stubborn. It shows that you're, you know, willing to listen to outside points of view and take them on board, all that kind of stuff. And it's important at the end of the day to take on everyone's worldview. You know, sometimes you discard them because they're shit, but sometimes they're really useful, and sometimes they can be quite good. And, you know, I feel like in terms of the consistency of life, as long as you keep trying stuff, once you're in a groove and you keep dancing, you can dance to that groove for a long time, as long as you keep dancing. And some days it'll be easier to dance than others. But if you stop dancing, it becomes very difficult to begin dancing again. And it's not that you can't ever dance again, it's not that you won't, but once you've fallen off that horse, it's hard to get back on it. But you know, you might get to some points on the horse where you're like, fucking hell, you know, this horse is about to kick me off. You know, maybe the horse starts doing like, all that sort of stuff. You know, and maybe it starts galloping at certain points. I'm not sure what that is in the metaphor. It's probably like doing a lot in a small space of time, like having a really productive sort of time. So yeah, as long as you kind of keep your groove up, keep trying things, and you know, don't lock yourself into a singular personality. Always be sort of growing and stuff. Then you'll be doing all right at the end of the day. So yeah, I don't really have much else to add other than that. This is meant to be just a video about consistency in general and how it's important in the sense of, you know, action, but not necessarily in ideas. Aww. I'm gonna move over here so you can see them. All right, that's gonna be the end of the video. There's people coming, so thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day. Take care, bye-bye. No. Nah, there's more to it than that. Hey up everybody, my name is Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit around a two-letter word, N-O, no. How do you say it? How do you say it to people? Because oftentimes we can be, particularly people pleasers, like myself, we often try to make people feel as comfortable as possible by just saying yes and putting their comfort before our own. And there's got to be a nice balance somewhere where everyone can be happy and no one has to suffer for the sake of other people's enjoyment. Now, when you are sort of saying yes or no to something, if someone sort of asks you, do you want to come out, but you don't want to go out, and you say no, that's something that if you keep doing that, then eventually they will stop asking you if you want to hang out. And so that might make you feel pressured to say yes to a particular event, because if you say no to this, then What if they don't ask you in the future, right? So there you want to ask yourselves, do you want to actually be going to these things? Do you enjoy this sort of thing and want to go to it more often? Will you mind if they stop asking you no? Outside of just the external validation, will you actually miss these events, right? And thirdly, do you feel like you're the one that's putting in all the work in terms of this kind of thing? So if you've answered yes to any of those questions, I feel like you should maybe take a look at if you really want to be continuing with whatever this arrangement is where you're being asked to go somewhere and you say yes or no. Are you actually enjoying it? Do you want to keep doing it? Are you going to miss it? And if you can answer yes to all of them, then maybe just do say yes. But you also need to take time for yourself. We all need those days where we can just like relax and just do a bit of that. This is me pretending to be on the phone. So you want to do a bit of that sometimes, but you don't want to do that all the time, because that's when you're probably in some kind of depression hole, because you're avoiding going out and interacting with the outside world. And if you keep doing that, then people will eventually stop wanting to hang out with you, because you're just saying no to everything, and when you do eventually turn up, you're kind of a downer. How can you avoid that? Well, I think by learning to say no to various things that might put you in an uncomfortable situation, and not just going along with the flow that someone else has set up and getting in a canoe and going down their fucking waterfall, then you can really make yourself feel more confident within your own being and be able to say no more in the future. And as you get more confidence, you will become more social, more socially aware, and more able to light up a room with, something that's interesting or funny or that, essentially. So if you want to say yes to something, then do. But if you don't want to say yes to something, then don't. You don't have to. There might be pressures in your exact circumstances. I can't judge for your exact circumstances. But if you find yourself consistently saying yes to stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable because you feel this external pressure to say yes, and you feel like you have no real control over this and your life, then it's a good time to reevaluate the current, relations that you got with your friends and your family and so on and so forth. Do you need to start cutting people out of your life who are sort of taking the mick with you, that are asking you to do things that you feel completely uncomfortable in doing? Say, I don't know, here's a political example, right? Say a friend of yours asks you if you want to go to like a far-right rally, or if you're on that side, say someone asks you, do you want to go to a Palestine rally, right? Say you're on the side that doesn't like those things, and you're asked, do you want to go along? You don't want to go along, right? You don't want to support that kind of cause, but you feel this internal anxiety about their thoughts on you. Say, if you say no to this, are they going to think I'm some kind of bloody pansy that hates this cause or hates this or whatever, So you end up going because you want to please them. You want to make them think that you're on board with everything. So now you've sold out your own beliefs and your philosophy for the sake of external validation that you might not even receive, because they're probably not going to turn around to you and go, oh wow, you're such an awesome guy to coming to this thing I asked you to come to. They're probably just going to say, oh, yeah. What's probably going to happen, you'll do the march, you'll probably go to the pub afterwards, you'll have a few drinks, you won't even talk about the politics at that point, you're long gone. This isn't a political point at all, this is just a point about protest in general. You'll go to the protest and you'll go away somewhere, you'll have a drink, you'll have a bit of a chat about stuff, topics will change, you'll get on something new, and then you'll just kind of get on with your day. You'll go home again, you'll fall asleep, and you'll sort of look at the ceiling and think, God, I'm going to be in some kind of YouTube video or like news piece where I'm being represented as a supporter of this cause that I don't believe in. And it's because I said yes to something that I didn't want to say yes to, because I didn't want to let that person down, because I want them to see me as someone that is willing to go along with the flow. And you don't always have to go along with the flow. When in the past I've said go along with the flow, I mean it as make your own flow and go along with that. Don't just take other people's flow and go along with what they want, because they don't have your best interests at heart. Only you have your best interests at heart, and only you can decide what's best for yourself. No one else can decide that for you. I can't decide that for you, your parents can't decide that for you, your girlfriend or your boyfriend can't decide that for you, your friends can't decide that for you. No one can decide that for you other than yourself. And the way that you actually go through and you make yourself confident enough to, build up your own personality over time is by saying no to various things and being the person that sometimes has to let others down because you have prioritized something that's important to you over something that is important to them. And that is the key to it. You need to prioritize yourself whilst at the same time, it's important to know that, when I say prioritize yourself, don't just become a selfish arsehole, because you don't need to become a selfish arsehole to have your own priorities at heart. You can still take other people's, interests into account, For instance, if say you're hanging out with a friend and they say, oh, can you take me to the bus stop? And you say, no, because I want to just go to sleep. That was something very, very minor that they asked you to do, and you've said no for not much gain whatsoever. So in terms of the social points that you might earn out of that compared to the relaxation points that you might, I don't know where these points have come from, this point systems come from, but it's an imbalance in terms of it. You're not getting very many relaxation points, but they're losing a fair bit of oh damn. Particularly if it's like a woman that's asking you to take me to the bus stop because it's late at night, and I think you'd be a bit of a scumbag if you just let them go to the bus stop on their own. If it's a bloke, it's a bit more, 50-50. Is it a case that I'm gonna have to keep taking this person whenever they come over to the bus stop, and there's gonna be that expectation that I take them to the bus stop? And do I wanna make that a thing that's continual? Because I don't wanna have to suddenly have this conversation like, hey man, I don't really wanna take you to the bus stop anymore. Or you might try and worm your way out of it. You don't really wanna do that. So there are certain points where you gotta say no to something with that priority in mind. But because life is so complex and convoluted, it's up to you to try and make the right decisions. And you won't always make the right decisions, but they were your decisions, and you've got to stand by them through thick and thin. Even if they're the wrong decision, it was still your decision. You've got to own that and be proud of the fact that you made that decision, even if it was wrong. Even if it was something that you regret doing or regret not doing, that was your decision, that was your choice that you made in that moment, and you just have to live with it. And you can either live with it in suffering and agony through regret, or you can use it as a learning tool and motivation for the future to make right decisions in the future, and as a learning experience. It's up to you. Do you want to take the negatives out of life, or do you want to take the positives? And that's essentially the entirety of it. To say no to people is to try and figure out the social equation of life. And there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, there's only yes and there's no, and there's maybe as well. And it's up to you to decide on those things, and it's up to you to make those decisions. And as you go forward in life and make more and more decisions, you will eventually get somewhere good in life if you're making the right decisions. And if you're making the wrong decisions, then it's a good time to reevaluate, see what you're doing wrong, and then continue from there. But yeah, just learn to say no to people. I know it's difficult, and I know it can make you sort of feel awkward to make other people feel bad in that very split second, but they'll get over it. They won't remember this thing that put them out, but you will remember that confidence that you gained from standing up for yourself. And that's, I think, going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this. Hope you will have a great rest of the day. If someone asks you out, say yes or say no. Do what you want to do. Don't think about their wants. Think about your wants, and then try and have what you want be something that benefits others as well, because that's the nature of a selfless person rather than a selfish one. Yeah, that's going to be all from me. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and take care. Yeah, so yes. Hey up everybody, my name's Joshua Morrison, director of Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why we haven't been doing these little day X filming is complete sort of videos. Why does it feel like maybe the progress has maybe slowed ever so slightly? And I'd like to clear things up regarding that, because I think, to be upfront, these videos have taken up most of my time, and they have become my first priority, and Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence has become my second priority, which means I work the film around these videos, not the other way around. And that's a balance I am actively trying to shift. I don't really have a backlog. Someone in the comments on another video asked me if I have a backlog, and like, how do I do these videos? By the skin of my teeth is the answer to that, because I do 2 videos a day. The most I've had in terms of a backlog is I had 2 days worth of videos done, and on one of those days I had to upload 2 videos, so really I only had 1 day of videos done. So I'm working quite actively to build a backlog. I'm trying very hard. I want to get to the point where I am 2 weeks ahead of wherever I am, so that way I can just not film these videos for a little bit and actually work on the film, because it is starting to distract me from that, and I've certainly been falling off of doing the film because of these videos. But at the same time, I feel like the film can wait, but these videos cannot. I've done something, I don't know what, but I've tapped into something here that needs to be extracted now, that needs to be used now, it needs to be done now. This cannot wait. Whatever this is, it's urgent. And I feel that urgency, and I'm going to keep doing these videos. So what I've said to myself, this is my promise to myself, and now it's going to be a promise to you, the audience. I promise at least 2 videos a day from now, the 17th of November 2024. This might come out tomorrow. I promise 2 videos a day at least from today until the end of the year. And then after that, it's going to be 1 video a day after that. And by that point, I want to get a 2-week backlog. So I was thinking about it yesterday, and then I realized that I was thinking of it as 2-week backlog in my time now in 2024, and not from the 1 video a day perspective that would begin in 2025. So I wouldn't actually have a 2-week backlog, I'd have a month backlog. So I would really be able to get some work done on this film, and that kind of thing. And it's not like things aren't happening with regards to the film. I mean, Eva, the costume designer, has been sending me some amazing designs. She's come up with some really incredible things, like there's this panther sort of thing on Jonny Mozza's costume that he's going to wear during the big gig scene that happens at the end of the film. She's been doing all these crazy cool like things to do with that. I think we talk about it in the video about costume design. The producers and my co-director are looking at finding pub locations and stuff like that. So stuff is happening. And I need to spend today and tomorrow going through the Mandy. I made a Mandy thing, and I got about 150 applications. But honestly, I've had so much correspondence that I've not even had time to actually go through that 150 people, because it's not like I'm the kind of person that does like long series of interviews and like, you know, as if it's a privilege to work on my thing. For me, I see it as a privilege to work with these people. And so I tend to offer quite a lot of people the job. So if you want to work on Jonny Mozza's Lessons in Confidence, send your reel over and to Official Morrison Productions, sorry, Official Morrison Films. It's Official Morrison Films, so Official Morrison Films @gmail.com. That's Morrison spelt like Morrison's, without the S on the end, you know, the supermarket spelt like that. So yeah, I do apologise, by the way, for the lack of Jonny Mozza content and updates as of late, and I have felt a bit bad for not doing quite as much with it as I really should be doing, and I feel like progress has slowed, and there's been people that I've been really meaning to actually keep up with and get in touch with, and shoots that I need to arrange and stuff like that. I've only got 1 shoot to do next week, and it's a solo one of just me and the co-director, and I feel like I need to do more. I need to do more shoots, and I need to get more done, and that's why I'm working on a backlog at the moment. If I can get like a week backlog, then I can actually start working on that sort of stuff again. And I know what people will probably say is like, take a break, do things differently, and work towards doing things that way. But I don't see it like that. I don't see it as like, I work less, therefore I work better. I see it as, the more that I get into the flow state, the better I am and the better I function within the chaos, right? It's the same way, if you have a hurricane coming your way, right, and you put up all the wood on your windows and all that sort of stuff, now you're capable of withstanding that hurricane. That's kind of how I see it. I don't see it as, because the alternative would be, to keep the metaphor going, that would be like, I don't know, just moving house for the duration of the hurricane and then just coming back. And then seeing that your house has been hurricaned to the ground, to rubble, you know? So I don't really want to work things that way. I want to work things by going for the quantity over quality approach for this little, I'm going to call it a period, an era of Jonny Mozza, that will probably last from now until probably like March-ish. Well, I'm going to keep doing these kind of videos. I'm going to keep doing the talking thing with no jump cuts and no like extra bollocks on top of it, where you get a sense that it's the real person that you're sort of having some kind of one-sided conversation with, because that's why people like listening to this sort of stuff. It's because they feel like they're joining in on a conversation, but they don't have the pressure to actually chip in with something interesting. They don't have to sit there and go, oh, well, actually, you know, when I was going down here, you know, I saw this thing and it was really like, oh, weird like that. And you're in a social situation, you've got a thing of like anecdotes and ways to be interesting and all that kind of stuff. And it can be a bit of a mental toll. That's why people like podcasts, because they can just sit back and just listen to other people do all the heavy lifting of socializing while you just sit there and just take in all the entertainment like that. So I think to kind of explain why Jonny Mozza has been slowing down lately, it's because of these videos primarily. It's also because I've been taking some time to just try and balance my actual life with the film thing, because I am definitely a workaholic, I've decided. I think I'm a workaholic. I love doing this sort of thing. And you know, I do genuinely wake up, have breakfast, have 2-3 cups of coffee, get to work, and then have a cigarette and go to bed. So that's basically what my days look like. And I love doing this because it's basically my dream job. And I could probably do this forever. And some days, obviously, I wake up a little bit tired. Some days I don't have, 100% in me. Some days I do, some days I don't. And that's part of being human. We're not all perfect specimens, and as I've tried to preach before. And I feel like part of why I like doing these videos and keeping them up is because people do get an emotional resonance from them. I'm not entirely sure why, because to be honest, whilst I have said that these videos take a lot out of me, they're not particularly hard to do. I mean, I can do 2 of them a day, and I've been doing that for the past month, so they're obviously not that difficult. But they're really fun to do, and I'm glad people are getting something out of them. Sometimes I do watch some of them back, and I'm like, Josh, what the fuck are you talking about? and then someone will go down and be like, oh, great, points that you're making here, and I'm almost looking at like, you understood what I was saying? It can sort of feel like quite strange, but in a way that I really enjoy and I really appreciate. And I'm so eternally grateful. I'm sure I say this in so many videos now, but I'm so grateful to everyone for watching and enjoying what's going on. And it's a two-sided thing, because I know that some people are really like, I get a lot of comments saying, thank you for making this. Thank you for joining in on this mad little experience, this mad experiment of the Jonny Mozza experience. Thank you for being here, because it really means the world to me. It really, really does. This past month, honestly, since I started this channel, I don't even have words to describe just how euphoric and happy I actually am for all this. It's incredibly beautiful, and I love it. And I want this to keep going, and I will do this forever. If people are interested in it, I will do this forever. As long as, people keep being inspired by it, and people enjoy it, and people can put it on maybe while they're doing the dishes or whatever. I don't know. That's how I listen to these kind of videos. I don't know. Maybe once the year is done, I can start doing some experiments with the form and stuff as well. I'm just enjoying playing in the playground that I built for myself, and then at some point I'll turn it a bit avant-garde and I'll start exploring, because at some point this style of earnest kind of piece to camera kind of things, where it's about a personality driven, quite somber thing, that's going to go out of fashion. It just is, because it's the same way that the edgy humor of 2016 is no longer fashionable, and that's okay. But I don't plan to keep doing this even if the trend moves to something else. I'm not going to chase trends, but if I see the ship sinking, I'm going to abandon the ship and I'll find a different ship to get on, because I want to make sure that I can keep this audience entertained, and I want to, keep people happy, in the sense I want them to just be happy, not as in I want to be, approving of what I do, because they're not necessarily going to approve of everything I do. You're not going to like every video I make. You've probably seen a couple of videos where you're like, Jesus Christ, shut up. And that's cool, that's fine. That's part of the experiment of quantity versus quality, because sometimes you're going to do more, and sometimes you're going to do less, and sometimes that doesn't correlate to the quality of the thing itself. Sometimes it'll be better, sometimes it'll be worse, and that's fine. So yeah, I think to wrap this up, I do apologise for the fact that Jonny Mozza has taken a bit of a slowness. My computer was a bit fucked. My computer is now semi-working again, but I am going to have to start buying new parts for it. I'm going to get monetized soon. I'm quite excited for that. I think that's probably what I'm going to put my money towards, is getting some of the parts. It's only like 200 quid. I need to get new RAM, I need to get a new motherboard. Everything else I can salvage from the old computer. So that's all right. Yeah. And then once I've done that, well, I can actually start editing before I do that, actually. So I'm going to try and edit Jonny Mozza today and tomorrow. I haven't been able to edit it for like a week and a half. It's been killing me inside. It's really eating away at me. So I really need to get that done. And once I get that done, I'm going to do the day 5 and the day 6's filming is complete videos. And I'm going to start working towards getting day 7 done. Day 7 is quite a simple day. And then day 8, I really want to emphasize that day 8 is going to be quite a plot important day. But it does involve some actors that I need to actually contact and sort things out, and I need to arrange shooting times and actually make sure that the actor is the right actor for the role, that kind of thing. So yeah, once making a film isn't easy, and I never expected it to be easy. And I like the challenges that are coming along, and I want to remain open about the challenges that I am facing, because I think that's part of the interest. Like, if I was watching this kind of thing, making my own film, I want to see people struggle. I don't want them to make it look like a cakewalk and then I attempt it and I come across all these hurdles and it feels like I'm doing something wrong because everyone that I was inspired by seemed to do it so easily. You know, I'm very inspired by Joe Haver at the moment of his 12 Features project. And you know, I bet he's very stressed out. I bet it's very difficult what he's doing, because I'm making one film and it's fucking hard. He's making 12, okay? So I can't imagine that's easy. He's got 6 films to edit in like a month and a half. So I do wish him all the best. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he comes out with. But yeah, I think part of what I'm trying to get at is this isn't easy, and I'm not going to sugarcoat things and try and make it easy. I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to reveal the bad times that I have, the super bad ones that are personal, but film-related stuff, definitely. You're going to see it all. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of the day. Please tell me about your projects in the comments below. I'd love to know what's going on with regards to what you're working on at the moment. Let's try and form a community around making film, particularly if you're in the London area as well. Do email me at officialmorrisonfilms@gmail.com, radio voice at officialmorrisonfilms@gmail.com. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Just send your show reels or whatever. Don't bother with CVs, I don't read them. I don't read them because I don't give a shit, because people can lie on them. Like, it's blatant, but it's true. It's harsh, but it's true. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this. That's like the 4th time I've said that now. And goodbye.